Okay, we got the second episode of Sunshine Sports presented by FL Teams. I think so far the intro is better than the last one.
Yeah,
Uh,
we got renewed.
little sick today, so if that my voice sounds weird, that's because of that. A lot to talk about today. We'll go in a lot of different football games, a lot of different levels, college football, NFL. A lot of news, breaking news. We'll start off with the breaking news right now. USF, Memphis, Tulane, and UTSA are all joining the Pac-12. The only one I'm shocked by is UTSA. That's such a small school to go from like nothing to a power conference like out of nowhere. I know they have a pretty good
Yeah.
football coach and they had a couple good years these past couple years, but that's kind of crazy jump for that, especially with other sports. Like what's pissing me off lately is football decides what conference you're in. They don't care about the other sports.
Yeah.
UTSA is dog water at baseball, basketball, anything else. They're just going to get railroaded and everything else. Maybe be a little competitive in football, which I don't think they're that good, but their coach is really good. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's interesting. At this point, with how much change happens in all of the conferences, I basically look at it now as how's this going to affect my college football 25 dynasty? Now that UTSA is in a power conference, maybe, that Texas pipeline hits different. Maybe that's going to be a
Maybe
little
they'll get
easier.
going.
It just gives me the ability, if I do a Hawaii one, I'm just going to put them in the SEC because fuck it.
Might
Anything
as
can
well.
happen.
Doesn't matter.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
A lot of other stuff we'll get into as well, from Cal Twitter taking over FSU to reffing in college football to injuries in the NFL. A lot to cover here, so it's gonna be fun. Good episode we got on deck for you guys. And we have our first interview with UNF Coach Driscoll. That'll be at the end of the episode. So if you're a college football diehard fan, that's worth a listen to.
That was fun.
Yeah,
That guy bleeds
that
basketball.
dude
I
is
mean,
that dude knows ball.
just to give him some flowers, like I feel like anytime you go into an interview like that, especially with people like us that don't necessarily have any name recognition, you're gonna get a lot of like coach speak and very brief answers and
Yeah.
not have a lot of takeaways. He was the opposite. Like anytime we asked him a question, he would just keep talking because he loves the game and he liked talking about basketball in his
I
program.
thought that
It was
interview was
really
gonna be
cool.
like I thought that interview was gonna be like 15 minutes, and then we
Yeah,
ended up talking for like over an hour. And we
it was
can.
awesome.
I was like, I had to rush him out. I was like, all right, coach, we were doing this for. I want to get you out of here, but he was like, nah, dude, we can do this all day. I love talking ball with him. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was really
Um,
fun.
but let's go into the first segment of the day. Let's see what we got here. Just overall news and notes. NFL record low offensive numbers. Will that continue throughout the next couple weeks? I don't know. It's been brutal. Injuries do take into account, but Mel Kiper, I want you to explain to Mel Kiper what he said, because I read briefly about it, but I don't know too much. But he mentioned something about safeties. Do you remember what he just said?
Yeah, it's that every NFL team basically right now is running two high safeties, and so they're just taking away the deep threat. I guess every team except the teams that play the Saints, because it seems like they break off like three a game at this point. But that's what they're trying to do, and they're trying to bring the passing games into the middle of the field. And you have a lot of quarterbacks right now, especially young quarterbacks, with the way the college football is being played, that are not very good at throwing the ball in the middle of the field. They like to go to the sidelines, they like to throw slot fades, go deep. And so these quarterbacks are not able to play with the two high safeties right now. And so Mel Kiper saying that it should be banned, that is stupid. I mean, that this is just football. Like part of the fun of football is the chess game of it, right? It's being able, seeing how things change on a pendulum.
Yeah.
Like 5 years ago, everyone was throwing for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. Defenses adjusted. Now offenses are going to adjust and defenses will adjust. And that's just how the game works. So it's not going to be like this forever, but that's how it is right now.
To me, like teams are afraid to run the ball. I just feel like that if they're doing high safeties, just run the ball repeatedly to it like
Well, we are seeing a lot of rushing attempts. I think the thing that we're not seeing is very good rushing games. I think a lot of these teams are not built to run the ball effectively. So they are trying to run the ball because of exactly what we've talked about, but it just hasn't really worked that well. You're not seeing the long breakoff runs either. And so there just haven't been that many exciting plays. But you got to take into account that guys like Caleb Williams, guys like Jaden Daniels, I want to say Bo Nix, but I don't actually believe it. But Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams, at the very least, they're going to keep getting more comfortable, keep getting allowed to do more things in the offense. Anthony Richardson fits into that as well. And as some of those younger quarterbacks get more used to throwing the football, it's going to get better. Just right now, it isn't. But I love football. It doesn't matter to me. I'm having fun with a good defensive battle.
Well, we'll go into this next topic then, still retaining the football, because it also retains the NFL. College officiating has been awful this past year. The amount of flags, I think they're trying to mimic the NFL with how they're trying to take care of quarterbacks and players. The amount of flags is destroying the game right now. Maybe Josh Pate did a great take on this. He was better than Joe Klatt, the GOAT on college football media. He was saying that once Tua got hurt Thursday night, someone made a call. because we had a record amount of flags thrown protecting quarterbacks, and we can debate this because I know you thought the flag should have been thrown. South Carolina versus LSU this past weekend, late fourth quarter, LSU's driving down the field. The quarterback throws a pick six or throws a pick. The
Yeah.
guy's running it back. Garrett Nussmeier, the quarterback, who's no longer the quarterback, he is running to tackle this man because he doesn't want to give up pick six, gets rocked.
He got leveled.
Yes, but he's no longer like in the pocket trying to throw. He's physically trying to stop this man from throwing a pick six and gets tackled. He gets hit hard, but it's a clean tackle. The refs immediately throw a flag for roughing the passer who he wasn't even passing anymore. It cost South Carolina the game. The refs decided that game. It's awful. I missed the game. What happened in the game I loved.
So I agree it's a tough call, and I think in some of those moments you got to be able to just let them play. But I think also as a defensive player, you have to be smarter, right? Like you have to know that I can just block this quarterback very gently and I'm going to get the same result. And so you're in the heat of the moment, you're playing the game and you see that quarterback and you're going, I can fucking light this guy up right now. But you got to be smarter and you have to have in the back of your head that they're going to look for a reason to throw a flag on me if I hit the quarterback. And look, I go back to all of my memories go back to, as a kid watching games and back when I was a huge, at the time, Redskins fan. I remember something happened to Kirk Cousins the same way. Or actually, no, it was us doing it to Nick Foles for the Eagles. He threw a pick and Chris Baker just like went out of his way and demolished him. Huge fight, got ejected. And it's like, look, he's blocking him, yes, but he's putting something extra on that because he knows it's the quarterback. And I don't think it was a bad call. But it's unfortunate, right? Like, I think the call was right, but I almost would rather they just let them play.
Yeah, I mean, especially when the call decides the game. Because like that game would have ended it. Like that pick six ends the game for South Carolina. They walk away with a big win. I don't agree with the call. I think if the quarterback's running, I mean, you got to do something. Are you supposed to just let the guy
Well, just block him. You don't need to fucking
adrenaline kicks
him.
in? Like adrenaline kicks in at that point.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's football instincts take over. I don't know. I think it's crappy. I missed the game.
I can't say that I wouldn't do the same thing if I was the defender.
Yeah,
so
exactly. We'll go over to the next topic then, just some news and notes. Cal Twitter absolutely destroying FSU Twitter. Cal, which is not like their fan base is non-existent. For some reason, they're 3-0 right now, and the fans just woke up this week ready to just go to FSU. And it's been the funniest back and forth. Not really forth, because FSU's just been sitting there taking it by Cal. But the memes that have been coming out, we talked about it last episode. The memes about FSU have been growing. Cal has taken it to like another level now, talking about race theory. During halftime, what do they call the stadium? Woke Campbell Stadium.
Woke Campbell Stadium. Yeah, it's I don't know if it's is it the Cal fans making those memes because they almost feel like they're making fun of Cal.
Yes, it is all the Cal football because Cal fans at least are like self-aware that they know they're woke.
Okay, that is pretty funny. Then look, this is what you get when you have the conferences this way. You got a team from California coming to Florida. Obviously, there are different ways that people see things in different parts of the country. I would actually say I lean close to the Cal side, but it's you get the football and the real world crossing over, and it opens the opportunity to dunk on FSU. And anytime you can dunk on FSU, it seems like people are going to take that chance. And I get it. And obviously, no one on our side is responding because we're 0-3. And what the fuck are we going to say? I mean, we suck.
The pride guy, the poop guy, they dressed him as the pride guy. That had me dying. College football Twitter is a different beast. That's what I love about this 40.
Oh, man.
It's like the back talking, shit talking you get is crazy. UCF and TCU went at it last week and it was funny. But yeah, it's been funny. We'll go into the actual games that transpired last week, but I can't wait to watch Cal play FSU this week now. Like
they're gonna win. We're favored again. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get into that later.
Yeah, let's go over the games real quick. We'll talk about UCF versus TCU first. I had UCF, you had TCU. Before we get in the games, you want to talk about going 2 for 6 on your game picks on the Florida games first.
Look, I think, the FSU one, I think that's a mulligan, right? Like I knew in my heart we were not going to win that game, but what am I supposed to do? I got to have some semblance of hope. I said last week that game against Memphis represented the season, whether it would be even worth watching the rest of the year. And so I had to believe. I knew we weren't going to win that game. For the rest of them, look, it's our first episode. Did I try to maybe?
You were just nervous. You could say you got to get the jitters out.
I wouldn't say I was nervous. Did I fully believe every pick that I made? Debatable. Did I want to root for Tate Rodemaker? I did.
He did come out just light.
He came out slinging. Look, it was a bad slate of picks for me. I'm locked in this week. No funny business, no Tate Rodemaker. And we're gonna sweep.
Okay, let's get into the first game then. UCF versus TCU last week. We were dunking on KJ Jefferson. TCU fans were also dunking on him, but they came to play. They were getting destroyed early on. 28-point comeback, largest in school history. RJ Harvey, UCF's running back, is now solidified himself as a first-round pick. I think if he stays healthy, he was
Yeah, maybe.
if you've not seen him play, dude, it's worth it. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, averaging close to 8 yards per carry. Had 100.
He's a dog. He's a dog.
Yeah, 7 touchdowns so far this year. KJ, when it mattered most, 2 minutes left, 2-minute drill down the field, scores a game-winning touchdown to another NFL level wide receiver, Kobe Hudson. And they walk off with the win because of that. I mean, I still don't think he's that good, but he was just locked in on that last drive.
Look, you got to give him credit. I mean, that was a huge game, and like you said, a huge comeback. And anytime that's when you find out what you're made of as a quarterback. When not things aren't going well and your back's against the wall, how do you respond? And it was an impressive drive. And look, he's got the build, the prototype. Where I guarantee you, NFL scouts are looking at him. It's the same argument with DJ. He's horrible. He'll get a flyer as an undrafted guy just because he's big and he has that quarterback build.
Yeah. I want to say when we tried to come out with the Florida team rankings graphics, I did boost UCF to number 2. I was overruled. USF remained number 2. We have over 100K views on that graphic right now, and it's mostly USF fans just pissed off that they're not number 2. And I just want to say, I know I'm the biggest UCF hater. I tried to put them at number 2. I did my hardest, but
I don't believe you.
I was overruled. Anyways, next game, Texas A&M versus UF. I don't want to get into this one too much. I think just Billy Napier is a walking corpse at this point.
Yeah.
They're just trying to find the money for his buyout.
It's bad.
Yeah, it's done.
It has Taggart vibes. I hate to keep bringing everything back to FSU because I seem like such a homer, but it really feels like Willie Taggart. Like it's been bad from the jump, and we already know this early in that like it's over, and they're just like you said, trying to find the right time. I saw people on Twitter talking about what if they just say screw it and hire Tim Tebow, and the top reply was yeah, that's the best way to get the AD fired. I was like probably, but it would be fun. Hey, remember when who was it? Was it the Colts that brought in Jeff Saturday for half a season?
Yeah.
What if you just fire Billy Napier and say,
just
you know what, Tim, come rally the guys for half a season and just have fun.
Yeah, we'll see. We got the toilet bowl matchup for Mississippi State versus UF this weekend. Both teams horrible losses, but we'll see. Again, Texas A&M was actually solid. We both picked Texas A&M. UF is just a bad football team. There's no way around it. They have the talent, which sucks. They have a 5-star quarterback, number 2 ranked player, DJ Lagway. Who I think if he can stay and develop, maybe he takes Gators back to like national prominence. No matter
probably transfer.
Yeah, but he might just transfer. But we'll see. That game, we're not going to go too much into detail. The next one, USF versus USM, Southern Miss. USF did beat the brakes off, but about a quarter and a half into that game,
they were in it.
Tate was
slinging. I'm not gonna lie. I was watching. I was like, I was joking when I picked him, but shoot, I mean,
he can throw it. That's why I was like, I think if he was still at FSU and he was a starter, FSU might at least have a win.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Look, you know what? I'm not going to go on another FSU rant. We'll save that for later. But yeah, Tate looks pretty good.
Big FSU rant, by the way. I'm about to go crazy on a guy from FSU.
Yeah, I can guess who.
But yeah, USF looks good. I will say this. I mean, we're going to talk about it later when we get to the games, but they play Miami this week, and that's all I want to talk about. But that game, USF. Byron Brown's a stud. They came out and did what they had to do. USM is not as bad as people think. Tate Rodemaker can sling it. I'm going to be rooting for him all year. Next game, Memphis versus FSU. We both took FSU. Was in the FL team's parlay. They let us down deeply. That team, I said Billy Napier is a walking corpse. Besides Mike Norvell, that whole team is a walking corpse. I just feel like there's no effort at all. And I know everyone's dogging DJ, and yes, he's bad. He's very bad. It's not all on him, but he is probably the worst part of it. He's just a statue. He can't really move. His balls, his balls just don't seem catchable when he throws to wide receivers. I would just let Brock rock. Like, how do you not let Brock at least get a couple reps in? He can move around the pocket. You can flush him to the right. He's supposed
That's the key point.
Guy. Yeah, and honestly, we said it over and over again. Lawrence Tolafili averaging 6 yards a carry. Why isn't he touching the rock more? You know what? Yeah. Playing Cal, it's going to be a running game with Cal. Just match their running game with Lawrence. Just beat him over and over again, and we'll see.
The thing is, like, yeah, DJ's a scapegoat, and yeah, he's not been good. Like, there's no way around it. Obviously, Norvell came out and said, like, I think DJ's putting us in a position to win, and he got shit for that. And DJ hasn't been good. And in this last game, he made a lot of mistakes. Obviously, that pick that he threw in the first half was uh, one of the worst throws I've ever seen in my entire life. But I watched this whole game. We should have won. Memphis was giving us
Oh
the
yeah,
game, and DJ was trying to hang in there. He had no time to throw. His receivers were dropping balls, were muffing punts. We jumped off sides on a punt
yes,
that would have gotten us the ball back with 6 minutes left. And so then they went for it on fourth down and got it. Like, it's a bad coach. It's a poorly coached team. DJ's not good, but no one else on the team is good either. There's maybe 3 or 4 guys every week who I say, hey, they showed up to play. So
yeah,
you can blame DJ all you want, and he hasn't been good. But I think you put Brock Glenn in, and they're terrible still because the team is bad. But
yeah,
I will stand on the fact that I do think maybe Brock gives us a better chance just because this team was so built for a mobile quarterback like Jordan
yeah,
Travis.
yeah.
And Brock Glenn's no Jordan Travis, but he's certainly more mobile than DJ. So I feel a little bad for DJ because, yeah, he's not playing well, but people are acting like it's completely his fault. And the team stinks. Like,
Yeah.
the team is just bad.
I will say this is the first loss where Memphis isn't good. I come away with this not thinking like Memphis should. Everyone wants Memphis in the playoffs. I don't think Memphis is good. Like Boston College was good. They just
Yeah.
balled. Castellanos,
Boston College played a great game. Memphis did not look good.
Memphis did not. And I will say this about DJ too. Like I've said it since he was first recruited out of high school. Biggest arm, one of the biggest arms I've ever seen. But it takes him so long to wind up that throw that I just think it's hurting him. Like I'd rather have a guy that like Jordan Travis or Brock Glenn who gets it out quick when your offensive line is bad. So again, I would lean to Brock, let Brock rock, and just see what you can do. Maybe you just win like a couple games because at this point, Mike Norvell signed a massive contract, and there's been discussions already. If you guys go 1-11, 0-12, is Mike Norvell on the hot seat?
It's tough because, like, the way that the program was in shambles, he came in and he turned it around pretty quickly to where we were before Jordan Travis got hurt. I don't care what anyone has to say. We were a championship caliber team.
No, you guys were definitely contenders
with Jordan Travis healthy. We were dogging people.
Yeah.
It was a great team. Obviously, the way that he built the program and built the roster was not aimed at sustainable success, or if it was,
That's what happened when you
he
build
just
through the
didn't do
transfer.
that well. And yeah, exactly, because he built so heavily through the transfer portal. So that's something that he has to figure out and he has to be held accountable for. And some of the little mistakes that we're seeing in the games, those are coaching errors that he needs to be held accountable for. But you can't just blow him off after one season with what he's done and where he brought us from. But look, if we win one game, and we're guaranteed to win one, because I think we got like,
You play like an FCS school, you'll get
yeah, there's some FCS school on there. I forgot who it is. We're guaranteed to win one. But even if you win one game, I mean, that's the worst season in the history of the program easily. Maybe you do just fight. Like FSU's not a program that's going to wait around and let a 1-win season happen.
Yeah.
Because you're going to lose so much recruiting momentum, and then you're right back where you started.
Yeah. So based off what you just said, and I've been saying this since the start, I love the transfer portal. Like people hate it or love it. I don't mind. To me, you got to use the transfer portal as a depth builder. Like if you're like, hey, I'm missing like a slot receiver. Let's get a guy. Mike Norvell's using the transfer portal as his primary source of recruitment.
Yeah, it's a problem.
You can't build that way because you don't know why those guys are transferring. They could be like culture like guys that are just cancer in the locker room. I think you're seeing that right now. So I think hopefully they learn like, hey, we can get a couple of transfers like they did with Jared Burris, Johnny Wilson, where they were in there for multiple years. Jordan Travis was a transfer too, but they build through the program with those transfers. Not getting these 1-year guys like DJ. And some other
even Roydell Williams, he's not playing well, and he's taking Lawrence Toafili off the field.
Yeah,
but you paid these guys money, so you feel the responsibility to have them out there. I agree. Like, it's about building depth, and it's like guys like Jordan Travis, who he brought in as a freshman transfer, and then we had him as our quarterback for 3-4 years. And then I guess once we had that great team, he was like, all right, let me try to fill in the pieces, but he wasn't doing the work to make sure that we'd still have a team once all those pieces were gone. The analogy I always use is like the Houston Astros when they were horrific. They rebuilt their team, built the skeleton, had everything ready to go, and then they went and got Justin Verlander.
Then you plug away to find those missing pieces. Yeah, that's
right. He was the last piece to bring the team over the edge, but then they had a plan for. I mean, JV actually is still on the team somehow, but you get what I mean. They had a plan for how to continue to succeed after going all in that 1 year, and we didn't.
Yeah. Let me go off my little rant here. There's one more FSU rant. Patrick Payton. What are you doing?
Do it.
I rewatched the game. I rewatched the tape. This man stops playing 3 seconds after the ball is snapped. He gives up. If he can't get past that offensive lineman, he gives up on the play. He doesn't chase after anybody. He's just sitting there collecting his NIL check, not caring. Dude, you're not going to get drafted. He might get drafted 6th or 7th round at this point just because of his physical traits. But dude, you do not care about this team. You do not care about football. It's evident when you just stop playing after 3 seconds the ball is snapped. You're supposed to be the best player on this team. Wake up. Like, show some heart. Keep hustling. The only guy I see trying is DJ Lundy and one of their safeties on defense. Like,
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Like,
look, I thought the defense played a decent game, but Patrick Payton is that guy that you're supposed to. He's supposed to be the guy. Like Jared Verse, when we needed a big play, he was there. When we needed someone to change the energy in the game, he made that happen. And Patrick Payton was supposed to be that guy this year, and he just isn't. And
it's now beyond not even being that guy. You're not a football player. You
Yeah.
shouldn't be starting. It's embarrassing how bad you are. You should get your scholarship taken away. You should give back the NIL money. At this point, it is just embarrassingly bad how bad this man has been. There's no excuse. If he doesn't come out and just do something this week, I'm officially giving up on him. Dude is too talented to not have any stats. Like, it's crazy how bad he is and doing it for money. Like, at this point, I just think he's just sitting back, holding his ACC championship ring, and just counting the dollar bills he gets from his NIL deals.
What it feels like. The body language is a problem, and that comes back to Norvell.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I get that we're 0-3. You need to be able to get your guys to play, and you're right that for a lot of the guys, the body language is really bad right now.
If I'm Mike Norvell, bench him. Like, it's over with. I don't care.
Yeah.
You're that bad. I don't care. I don't care about your name. But that's my FSU rant to Patrick Payton. We're gonna clip this, and I'm gonna just DM it to you on Twitter. You better listen to it, buddy.
You threatening him? What are you gonna do with Patrick Payton?
Better wake up. All right, let's go over games for this week so far. Previewing week 4. Oh no, let's go over our betting picks because we both went 2-1. My mortal loss, your mortal hit. But we did pretty both of us going 2-1. If you tailed all of our picks, you're making money. We had a good week. Let's just talk about the loss. We don't have to go over the wins. I bet on Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. They got smacked. 12 flags for 150 yards. You're not going to win. You're not going to 10 penalties for 150 yards plus. You're not going to win many football games doing that. And that's why they lost. It was tough to watch. I was sitting there on my couch watching the game. They would come a little bit closer to trying to win another flag. But that's all I can say about that game. Just flags killed us. And we'll bounce back, though. In Timmy Chang, we trust.
Yeah, shout out Timmy Chang. I saw that someone had put. I was going to say this too. I can't escape the FSU negative propaganda. Like, I saw that post that was like the top 25 worst programs in the country. Yeah. Of course, we were on there, but Hawaii was like 5th.
Okay.
Can only go up from here, I guess.
So what happened to the Seahawks?
Yeah, I think it was just I don't think the Patriots are good, and I expected. Yeah, they won in week 1 against the Bengals, but like I said last week, the Bengals are notorious slow starters. They lost again this past week, and I just felt like the Seahawks were the better team, and they were very clearly the better team. But the Patriots have kind of that gritty, kind of grind it out, stay in the game sort of thing. Except for yesterday, we saw the Jets beat the brakes off of them, but they hung in there with the Seahawks, and the Seahawks still got the win, but they just couldn't cover. It is what it is. My mortal lock covered. Chargers -6 against the Panthers, and that's what I'll say. I'm not going to miss a single mortal lock all season. I'll say that right now. If I put the mortal lock tag on it, I'm not missing.
While we'll be saying this, we have our editor. He's going to have picks now as well. We are doing a mortal locks parlay if you tail all of our mortal locks. But if we lose that mortal lock, that person's now allowed to have a mortal the week after. So if you miss your mortal this week, we're going to say you can't have a mortal lock next week. So you got to.
So then you don't get a mortal lock this week, right?
Starting
or
now.
is that starting now? Okay.
Starting now, and starting now, the mortal locks competition.
Starting now is the competition has already begun.
Yeah, we'll go over the parlay. We'll go over the mortal locks parlay later today. But let's go into the college football games for Florida this week. Let's get the big game out of the way. Miami versus USF. Biggest game in USF history. These guys think they're going to make it to the playoffs. I think they can. But Miami's favored by 17 points. I have everyone in my DMs telling me USF is going to cover. They have a chance to win this game. I don't think people realize how good this Miami team is.
Yeah.
Second best offensive line, top 5 defensive line, top 3 quarterback, top 5 running back. if you have like top fives at multiple levels of this field, like I'm gonna pick you to win. And this reminds me
Yeah.
of 2019 LSU, kind of like the vibes of this team, like lightning in a bottle. The receiver
Yeah.
may not be as good, but the defense is crazy good.
Restrepo is nice.
Yeah, the running back's a beast. Cam Ward's a beast. Like this is lightning in a bottle for the Canes, and I think they kill USF. I don't think USF has a chance. I think they're gonna dog them, roll over, like roll over. They're just gonna roll over and die eventually. We'll see. I have Miami winning. What's your
Yeah.
team?
I got Miami winning too. I think USF could cover. I don't think it is the craziest thing ever. They've been playing really good ball. They hung in there until they collapsed with Alabama. But yeah, I mean, I think if you were asking me to pick a spread, I would take Miami minus 17. I just think that they, like you said, are a lot better than people are giving them credit for. I think we all got kind of used to Miami being really not very good for the last however many years.
Yeah,
But this is a good team. It has a feel. I wouldn't go as far as LSU, but it is one of those teams that like they brought in the transfer quarterback. They built, I think they're going in this year. Like this is the year that they really want to go for it, and I think they have the talent to do it. And yeah, I just don't think USF can stand with them, even though they're having a great year themselves.
yeah. But my other analogy would be they built their defensive line and offensive line through the high school ranks, and like it's paid off. Like these last couple of years, just Mario Cristobal is also great at recruiting those positions, but it's incredible how good it is. And you just
Yeah,
add Cam Ward to it, and it's insane. I think it's lightning in a bottle, like I said earlier, and I think they win.
yeah,
We'll move
I
on.
have to agree.
Cal versus FSU. The Cal communists are going down to Tallahassee to woke Campbell Stadium. Um,
Ah,
I can't pick FSU anymore. I just no matter if I think they even have a chance here, I just can't. Even if Cal's running back, Jaden Ott, I think his name is. I might have butchered his first name. Uh,
Jaden not. He's a stud.
yeah, stud, but he might be probable. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, that dude's a stud. I still have Cal winning. I don't have any faith in FSU winning this football game. If they can just beat Lawrence Toafili 25 to 30 times, I think maybe they have a shot,
Yeah.
but we'll see. They're not going to do that. They're going to give Toafili like 5 carries for eight yards a carry.
Look, it's tough. I've become so jaded by this situation because I think if I was not an FSU fan, I would have made so much money betting against FSU every week since the Georgia Tech week. We had a huge spread as favorites against Boston College. We were favorited last week, and I didn't think we were going to win either of those games. I knew we were not going to cover, especially against Boston College, but I'm not going to bet against my own team. So it's just like, I'm seeing these lines where we're favorites again. And I'm just like, dude, we're not going to win the game. Like, I wish, could this not be any other program that this is happening to so that I could just bet against them and bring in money? Because everyone can see it clear as day. I'm going to take Cal to win this game. I mean, we're bad. We're not good. Cal is 3-0. I'm gonna take Cal to win the game, and maybe I'm the jinx, and maybe that means we're gonna win. And if that's the case, I'll pick the other team every week. But I do think Cal's the better team, and we just look lost right now. We look lost.
I will say this is the first time the advanced stats have finally caught up with Florida State. Collegefootballgraphs.com. If you love looking at advanced stats, go check them out. The advanced stats point to Cal actually winning now. Like FSU is not favored by their model. Yeah, the Cal communists. The woke agenda is coming to Tallahassee and they're going to take over.
Yeah,
Love it. Let's go to the next game. FAU versus UConn, the Shula Bowl champs, rolling up to what maybe is the worst football team in like program in the country, but they're kind of building something there, maybe.
they're favorites.
Yeah, I will say if you go to collegefootballgraphs.com, you don't see this very often. FAU is +2, +3, maybe. College Football Graphs has them winning by 90% win probability. They said FAU should be favored and the spread should be -13 FAU. They think FAU is going to go in there and roll them. So I'm putting a massive bet on that. It's going to be one of my locks.
Might have to as well.
It's on our FL teams parlay. I will say the only thing I like about FAU is they play with speed. They're fast. Their running backs fast. Their quarterbacks fast. Their defense, they got some really good corners, and I trust Tom Herman to coach a sound defense. So I think they win. I think it's an easy pick. Their quarterback's banged up. He can't throw the football very well either way, so him being hurt doesn't affect me. As long as his legs move, because he's going to be a dual threat. So I have FAU winning. Jim Moore at UConn, still not there yet. But yeah, my pick's FAU.
Yeah, I got FAU too. And I think I'm also gonna have to sprinkle something pretty on FAU money line. They have not had a good year, obviously, as we talked about previewing the Shula Bowl, which is why neither of us picked them to win. But they came in and they won and they looked decent doing it. And yeah, I agree that UConn is one of the worst programs in the country, and this feels like a nice little upset spot.
We'll see what happens. I'll be watching that game because I'm gonna put a lot of money on it. But Monmouth, last game, Monmouth versus FIU. FIU disappointed us last week horrifically. They actually came out looking really good, and I'm like, dang, we're sharps. Like we picked the shit out of this game. And then the quarterback ended up throwing 3 picks, had a fumble for loss. I was hyping him up like crazy, and he just looked bad. They would not get back. At first, they wanted us to interview him. They would not get back to me after that game. I think that loss was demoralizing for him.
Damn.
We'll see what happens in the future with them. I still like their quarterback. He's only a sophomore. They're playing Monmouth, an FCS team, so they're favored by 13 plus. I'm going to take FIU to get right here at home in Pitbull Stadium. They're undefeated in Pitbull Stadium, so we'll keep that streak going.
Yep, I got one word for you, Dale. I'm going FIU too. I think we're going to go into Pitbull Stadium and see them roll Monmouth. I mean, look, I'm going to keep it in layman's terms. Do I know a ton about FIU or Monmouth's programs? No. But if you're losing to Monmouth,
Yeah, you're
we
done.
shouldn't even talk about you again on the pod,
Yeah.
like straight up. Like if you lose to Monmouth, we probably won't even bring you up next week. So go ahead and get that win, fellas.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, I think that's all the games. UCF's on a bye week, and then they play Colorado next week. That's going to be a fun week between Colorado fans and
Yeah.
UCF fans to talk about. You want to go over what happened in the NFL or your NFL picks for this week?
Yeah, let's jump into it. The Florida NFL games. We got the Bucks 2-0 taking on the Seahawks, or sorry, taking on the Denver Broncos, who are 0-2. Bucks are 6.5-point favorites in that game. I'd roll that line for sure. Baker looks awesome. People wondered if the Bucks were going to take a step back, losing Dave Canales. I think they actually look better. They ran it back with the same team. Baker looks really good right now. Like it's not just that things are clicking, like kind of with Derek Carr. How much do you believe in that Saints offense? He looks like a good player. He's extending plays. He's making sidearm throws. He's having fun. They're using Chris Godwin in the slot a ton, and he looks awesome. And they're doing the pre-snap motion thing that almost every offense is trying to do at this point. They're doing it really well, and they just beat a Lions team that's a really good team, as we know. And the Broncos on the other side, yikes. I mean, does Sean Payton keep his job at the end of the year? I know you have a Broncos future. You believe you're a Bo Nix believer. I think Bo Nix is trash.
5.5, 5.5. All I need is 6 wins. We'll get going.
I don't think it starts this week. I think the Bucks go into Denver, cover that line, win easily. Bo Nix looks awful, and the Bucks defense, they're a little bit banged up, but they're a solid unit, and I just don't think that the Broncos are going to be able to keep up with that offense at all. I don't know if you have an opinion on that game.
In Bo Nix, we trust. Cortland Sutton, we trust. Sean Payton, we trust. Bo Nix magic. Anything can happen.
Are you taking the Broncos?
I have a future on them, so we'll see.
All right. Next, we got the Dolphins 1-1 going into Seattle to take on the Seahawks, who are 2-0. Seahawks 6.5-point favorites in that game, obviously, because Skylar Thompson is going to be starting for the Dolphins. Look, this is a tough one. Maybe Skylar Thompson has developed. I know you kind of like him. Maybe he's going to come out and look good. I think there is a path for the Dolphins to at least cover because I don't think the Seahawks are that good. We saw them just barely beat the Patriots last week. I think their defense, even though they got a good defensive coach in Mike McDonald. Oh, speaking of, this is the Mike McDaniel versus Mike McDonald Bowl.
Love it.
Oh, and it's the Hawk Tula Bowl.
Let's not mention that.
Actually, it's not even. It's the Hawk
episode 2 of Talk 2 should be out soon. Direct competition. We release at the same time. I wonder what the numbers are between our who's watching us and who's watching them. I bet it's a tight race right now.
Dude, I wonder if that's why Tua got hurt. If the NFL made the call in, they're like, we can't have this game being promoted as the Hawk Tua game.
You can't need the Hawk Tua game.
I'm sad. I'm sorry I even went down on that tangent, but yeah, I think the Dolphins have a path to cover. Just throw screen passes to Tyreek and Devon Achane. You have the weapons that are good enough to make gash plays and make a couple big plays. Your defense is solid. I do think the Seahawks get the win. Geno looks really, really good right now. He looked amazing his first year in Seattle, and then last year he looked really bad. His offensive coordinator last year, Shane Waldron, is now the offensive coordinator for the Bears, who look really bad. So I think him breaking out from that OC, getting a new OC who's a little bit more creative, is using Jackson Smith and Jigba in interesting ways, has kind of unlocked him. And Geno Smith is a good quarterback. People try to pretend that because he was
crazy. I love it. I love a quarterback who was in a bad situation, like Sam Darnold recently, balling out.
And Baker.
And
Yeah,
Baker.
he's playing well, and the Seahawks offense looks really good, and I think that's going to be the difference in getting them the win. But I think the Dolphins can keep this game close and
We'll
potentially.
say the NFL has a deep, uh, there's a lot of good backups, I meant to say. Like the Dolphins could go trade for like Drew Lock.
Would we call Drew Lock good?
I mean, I think he's a pretty big upgrade over Skylar Thompson.
This is my big brain theory.
Pretty big upgrade.
I do have to agree with that. He's definitely an upgrade over Skylar Thompson. Go Ryan Tannehill. Like, why not? But
I
what I
think
think
Lock's
should
actually better
happen,
than Bryce now.
if the Dolphins are hanging around, and this obviously depends on Tua's recovery, and how that's looking, but if they're not feeling like Tua's going to be able to play for them this year, the Rams are going to be really, really bad because their entire weapons room is hurt, their offensive line is hurt, and Matthew Stafford's just going to be getting killed back there. If you're the Rams, do you not just offer Matthew Stafford to the Dolphins at the trade deadline if Tua can't go for a first?
Or
And if
go
you're the
get
Dolphins, I think the Dolphins are nasty with Stafford is still a great quarterback. Like I think that'd be kind of interesting.
I think you can go after Jameis Winston. There's a ton of guys
Yeah,
you can go after and literally plug and play right now. And it's a massive upgrade
yeah,
instead of Snoop Huntley.
yeah. But so I think the Seahawks win that game, but I think the Dolphins definitely could cover. And then the last game, Jaguars 0-2 going into Buffalo. Bills are 2-0. 5.5 point favorites. The Bills are. Jags staring 0-3 in the face. I think the biggest coach who should be on the hot seat right now is Doug Peterson because his offensive creativity is non-existent. You watch some of the plays, and look, people like to dunk on Trevor Lawrence. I'm a Trevor Lawrence defender. I believe he's a good player. I believe that he's not been given the best situations always. And look, I'm not going to make only excuses for him. He didn't have a good game last week. He was playing a really good defense in Cleveland in bad weather. Some of the play calls were like unexplainable. Like you have a 3rd and 2 and you're running two guys on flies. Like what is the plan? I think Doug Peterson's offensive game planning has been really, really bad, and he has really exciting players, Travis Etienne, Brian Thomas, that he's just not finding ways to unlock. And I think the Jags are going to lose this game. The Bills look really good. I think they're the better team right now, and it's a shame because the Jags have been such a up and down team, and obviously the collapse they had last season. And I believe that they have a good roster and that Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback, but the coaching isn't there right now. I think they need to reset in the offseason, fire the coaching staff, bring in someone exciting who can unlock the offense, and we'll be singing a different tune about them next year.
Yeah, it's been a toilet season so far for him. I need Etienne to go start going crazy. Yeah, 3 NFL games this week. It's gonna be fun. A lot of football games. Let's go to our locks of the week. Oh, we do. I will, as we go into our locks, I'll mention we have our first Sunshine Sports parlay as a show not parlay, Sunshine Sports future bet. Our first show future bet. I found it on a Hard Rock Bet. A buddy of mine texted it to me. Miami to have more wins than UCF, -150. I think Miami has a good chance to run the table, if not win 11 games at least. People are now hyped up for UCF after beating TCU, but the Big 12 is kind of crazy. It's a crazy gauntlet. Anybody can beat anybody on any given week. So first ever future bet for the show. I think Miami gets more wins pretty easily. Just takes a couple trip ups by UCF to not cover that. So
I like that.
let's go into our regular picks. We'll just go one by one like we did last week. Mortals will go last. I'm starting with my first one. We mentioned it earlier, FAU money line. I think that's going to hit if the advanced stat. I'm an advanced stats nerd. If I see something that glaring in the difference between what Vegas has and what the advanced stats have, I'm going to smash it. And so that's what I'm going to go with this week. I think FAU covers. I think they win. I have them outright. I'm not even taking FAU +3. I'm saying FAU money line. That's my first pick. What's yours?
Yeah, mine is actually going to be the Chiefs, 2-0 going into Atlanta to take on the Falcons, who are 1-1. Chiefs are 4.5 point favorites. I'm going to ride that spread all day. I know the Chiefs just lost Isaiah Pacheco. I mean, they have Patrick Mahomes, they have Travis Kelce, they have Rashee Rice. They're going to be okay. They're just going to have to do it in a little bit of a different way. People think that the Falcons figured it out because they had that huge win against the Eagles. They looked really bad until that last drive, and I think the Eagles secondary is really bad. Kirk is figuring it out. I'm not saying that the Kirk experiment is a problem, but he's going to have to start being more mobile and start testing that Achilles a little bit more than he has been. And I think the Chiefs have such a good defense, such a good pass rush that they're going to give him fits. I think they cover this one pretty easily.
Charles' first pick. Shout out Char, our editor, new to the program. He's going to be helping us out throughout the year. His first pick is Utah -2. We have Utah versus Oklahoma State, two really old quarterbacks, Cam Rising, 25, Alabama, 26.
It's the Unk Bowl.
The Unk Bowl, as people are saying. Cam Rising is playing. I think if Cam Rising is playing, you always have to lean Utah. They're just a really good team when he's playing. And yeah, he's going with Utah. I love the pick actually, and I might take it myself. But Utah -2 is Charles' first pick. We'll go to my next pick. Going down south again, mixing it up, adding a little culture to this podcast. We're not just football podcasts. Going way down south, past Mexico. We're going to Brazil. Brazil soccer. Botafogo FC. They are killing Brazil. They have an American owner. No one saw this team coming, and this guy's just been killing the game down there. They're sitting like 17-5-5, beating people to a pulp. So I'm taking Botafogo on the road against Fluminense to win. Draw equals no bet, and it's only sitting at -150. This is a steal, people. I don't say this very often. I said this during the FAU pick, saying it during this pick. Unload your savings on this. Rent's due tomorrow.
Oh, don't say that.
Rent is due tomorrow, okay? We don't gamble responsibly here. Unload your picks. Unload your money on these teams, and you'll
See you
win.
later, retirement savings.
Yeah, more like double it up. Go be Bezos. It's a great day to have a good day.
It's a great day to have a good day. I just want to touch on a little bit of context. Obviously, I've known Nick for what, 8-9 years now at this point, since high school. This guy's a D-gen, always has been. I knew he was going to say Botafogo. That's why I started laughing the minute he said we're going down south, because he's been trying to get us to ride that team for like 2 years, them and the London Lions. But yeah,
They should have won the league last year. I almost did a future bet on them, but the refs ruined the season for them. To the point where
classic.
the team owner tried taking the league to court.
Sounds like FSU.
Anyway,
I'm gonna do my second pick here. I've got the Texans -2.5 at Minnesota. Obviously, the Texans and Vikings both 2-0. Vikings have been a cool story. Sam Darnold playing pretty well. But I don't think the Vikings are that good. Yes, they went and beat San Francisco. That was a nice win. That was also a San Francisco team without Christian McCaffrey, with a banged up Deebo Samuel. And for some reason, Brock Purdy is just awful against the Vikings, we found out. I think the Texans are a really good team. Like, I think this is a Super Bowl contending team. CJ Stroud looks amazing. The weapons they have on offense are incredible.
You got a little
defense is
bro, Caleb
incredible.
Williams. I love that. I love that he little bro, Caleb Williams.
Yeah, but that kind of pissed me off, because CJ Stroud. So there is an interesting perspective of, like, CJ Stroud was trying to be helpful to him, but he's also like what, a year older than him. So I kind of get Caleb being like, dude, like, I'm good. Like, you're not Aaron Rodgers.
CJ Stroud's also going to be up for MVP this year. Like,
yeah. But that's the point. CJ Stroud's had so much success in this league already that, like, when he talks, you should listen. So I thought Caleb came off looking pretty bad there. But yeah, I think the Texans are an awesome team. Daniil Hunter, Will Anderson, insane edge rush duo. And I think they're going to roll the Vikings. I just think they're a lot better than the Vikings.
Awesome. Okay. Like that pick as well. Let's go to Charo's next pick. I'm looking at the whiteboard. If you see me looking down, I'm just looking at the whiteboard where we keep all our picks. Charo is hopping on the trend. Cal +2. Can't beat him, join him. And I think he's just sick of watching FSU lose. And sick of all the FSU hype. And he's just hopping on the bandwagon, seeing them lose. I like the pick. I'm not going to bet it personally. I just think that Mike Norvell maybe one day makes an adjustment. He's a hell of a coach. They also,
in theory,
Florida State also gets their offensive coordinator back because he was suspended for 3 games.
Yeah.
So he'll be calling the plays. So maybe there's some juice and life in there, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Mortal lock time. Okay, locks. Strap in. It's lock season. Spence is 1-0. I'm 0-1. I'm gonna get right now. My mortal lock. A coach from the FCS made the jump to FBS, and he's dominated ever since. He covers 70% of the spread since becoming Kansas State's football coach. My lock of the week is Kansas State -5. Coach Kleiman, amazing coach. He was killing it. Like, no one understands how, like, he doesn't get 5 stars or even 4 stars. This guy gets 2 stars and 3 stars and develops them. I love those type of cultures. They're winning. They're favored to win the Big 12. And again, covering 70% of the spread since you become head coach for like the past 5 years, that's an insane stat. And I'm going to keep riding them. They're going to BYU. Mormon country is dangerous, but I think those Kansas State fans are going to be drinking beers at the tailgate, just scaring away the BYU fans, and they'll get the dub. We'll walk out of there with money.
Dude, BYU, not to go on a tangent and dunk on a group of people, but they'll be chugging their chocolate milks at the tailgate, and I'm sure they'll be having just as good a time.
Yeah. Anyways, what's your lock? That's mine.
My mortal lock is I already talked about this game, Buccaneers covering the spread 6.5 against the Broncos. I just think, honestly, I think Bo Nix is really, really bad. And I think the Broncos are in a really bad spot. And I think the Bucs are playing really good ball. And it's just, that's an easy one to cover for me.
I love it. I actually got it down to 6. It fell down to 6 for you.
Awesome.
Um,
Even better.
yeah. Charles Mortal lock. Not a huge fan of it. Advanced stats will actually point to the other team, but he's going Colorado. He's going Shador. He's going Shador.
Throw the bus down my AP. Perfect time, man.
We'll see. They're playing Baylor. Baylor's whatever. Like they're okay. I don't think they're as bad as people say, but bit of a quarterback problem over there. They don't know who to start. So I think Colorado could win. They have the offensive weapons. Like they're just loaded on offense. They just can't block on either side of the ball. Like they have no D line, no offensive line. The defense is kind of pathetic besides Travis Hunter. But hey, that's his lock. We're gonna ride it because we believe in our locks, and we'll see what happens.
Yep.
That covers the pick segment. Let me see if we got anything else on the docket today. Still recovering from the flu, in case I sound a little weird today.
Yeah, you sound weird as hell.
NFL teams can't lose parlay edition number 2 coming out. Tampa Bay Bucks minus 4.5. We took it all the way down. Cal versus FSU under 47. FAU money line for a plus 461 parlay. This one won't lose. We'll get in the win column, and we'll see you at the cash counter.